All right, welcome back, True Seeker. Shout out to Chris with the big super chat before the show even starts. Already did better than the whole 4-hour broadcast in TFR last night. I appreciate that. But I made the camera extra big to again remind of the license plate that's back there that says, "What is 47?" Because here we are on February 16th, the 47th day of the year, and one of many headlines having to do with the number is the CEO of YouTube stepping down. Susan Wojicicki stepping down for 47-year-old, where is he? 47-year-old Neil Mohan on the 47th day of the year. And again, if you don't know what 47 is, we'll talk a lot about it. It's a number that has a lot to do with authority and time, and there are so many rituals performed with this number, even when it's not the 47th day of the year. But one of the mainstream stories out of this is she was the last woman that was the CEO of any big tech company, so now there are no women as CEOs in the world of big tech, which is kind of interesting because 47 is also very important to Freemasonry, and Freemasonry is an exclusive society for men. And for the person out there who'll say, "Nuh-uh, because there's the Order of Eastern Star," I'll repeat back to you, yeah, there's the Order of Eastern Star. That's not Freemasonry. Okay. Speaking of 47, Slow Joe, who was in D.C. for 47 years before he became president, who was once the 47th vice president, took office with 47-year-old Obama. Today, he addressed the UFOs. And remember, 47 was the year of UFOs. Everyone thinks of Roswell, New Mexico, when they think of UFOs. And not only was it the year 47, it was also the 47th state, New Mexico. But now on the 47th day of the year, Biden comes out and says they don't know what the things were they shot down. Probably just some test craft from private companies. I'll tell you what it really was. A load of shit by the numbers. And now on the 47th day of the year, more loads of shit. They don't even know what they shot down. Remember, in Gematria, president, White House, government, authority, Republican, Democrat, DC, they all equal 47. Don't forget it was February 11th, 211, the 47th prime, where they started using the terminology in the news of shooting down a UFO, an unidentified flying object. But again, I mean, this is what it is every day. It's bullshit by the numbers. By the way, the word news is 47, and again, it's a number connected to authority. News is authority, like government. They're the things that also mind control the majority of the populace, because if it didn't come from the news, if it didn't come from the screen, if it didn't come from the government officials, it doesn't mean anything to the lemmings of the United States of America. But they'll eat this bullshit up all day. "Oh, did you hear what it was? It was probably like some test craft like Google or Elon Musk or..." Anyway. Another 47 is Trump. We all know Trump equals 47. The night he won the rigged selection for him, which again was the 58th presidential election, where Freemasonry equals 58 like secret society, and he beat the lady Hillary, who put out the book What Happened, which equals 58. But remember, he was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel that night. The 47-story. So here we are on the 47th day of the year, and now, you know, the big legal thing connected to the 2020 election when Trump was going, "I've done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years. You know, now they do a partial release of that today. There might be something as well as it being 216. Of course, when Trump won the presidency, one with an asterisk, again, it's all rigged. None of these guys really win. They're just chosen. But when he was chosen, for the year he was chosen, 2016, he did his GOP convention in the 216 area code Cleveland. Cleveland, the only president to have a split term. Will Trump become the second? We'll find out pretty soon. It's just a little more than a year away. But remember, that'll be the 60th presidential election. Donald Trump equals 60. We all know what happened to his ex-wife, dead in the massive 60 ritual on the day that he hinted that he'd be running in the 60th election. The same day the conservative report was put out based on 60 cases against Trump. But another one for the 47th day of the year. And then also, here's John Fetterman. John Fetterman, who went up against the Wizard of Oz and won despite not even being able to speak in our totally legitimate elections. For people that know about the Wizard of Oz, you know, Dr. Oz, who won the primary on the anniversary of the publishing of The Wizard of Oz. That's something to look into. But in this case, it's John in the 47 city D.C. checking himself in for clinical depression. And remember, the name John equals 47. Don't forget Super Bowl 47, the Harbaugh brothers Super Bowl. John beat Jim. John equals 47, Jim doesn't. And you got to like the New York Times using the black background, clinical depression, darkness. But yeah, all of this stuff is a joke. We'll see if we get a follow-up on this tomorrow or possibly Saturday. Clinical depression equals 187 like Washington, D.C. Tomorrow will be his 187th day of his age. Saturday will be 187 days after his birthday. So, John Fetterman. Another reminder of what the government is. A massive joke. Now, remember, we talked about how important 47 was in the derailment of the Norfolk Southern train in East Palestine, Ohio, where East Palestine equals 47, derailment's 47, Ohio's 47, Norfolk Southern's 211, the 47th prime. So now not too far from that area, near Detroit, another train derails on the 47th day of the year, also carrying hazardous materials. And the media said they don't think this one's going to be as serious. But again, just, the copycat news, the redundant stories, they got a lockdown here in Ohio. Now there's one in Tucson, Arizona for a chemical spill. Again, where will it be next? And like I said, this is the way they can ruin a lot of small communities, doing things just like this to force people out of the town. If you got to leave the town and you're dead broke, where are you going to go to? You're going to go probably to the biggest city because that's where the employment opportunity is going to be, the chance to restart your livelihood. Remember, Agenda 2030 says they want people out of smaller rural communities and they want people in the cities. Again, they want to have these surveillance, welfare state, ghetto states for the future humanity. That's their plan. So these more rural towns of 5,000 people an hour outside of the city, that's kind of what they want to phase out. And I honestly wonder if it's going to end up happening to us at some point. Again, like I said, I live in a town of 5,000 people right now. And right in the downtown, there's a rail line. And big industrial trains go through there all the time. And maybe this town will get to experience the same thing. Move to Seattle. Move to Portland. Get out of the small towns. Didn't you hear it's Agenda 2030? So, again, just the 47 connection on the 47th day of the year with the derailment. Okay, and speaking of East Palestine, I realized I was overlooking a lot with this still. This will be about the 5th time I've covered it, but I had my aha moment this morning going, why didn't I think of this before? Of course, the way Palestine is spelled for Ohio is the same way we spell Palestine in Israel. And notice, from the day that Israel was founded, May 14th, to the day of the East Palestine train wreck was the 266th day of Israel's age. And of course, Israel, took a chunk out of Palestine to create its existence. But the 266th day of its age, and as we talked about, East Palestine, Ohio equals 266, like the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator is 266, like how Pope Francis is the 266th Pope who spoke in D.C. on the 266th day of the year. And from Pope Francis's birthday to the day of the train wreck or train crash was 48 days later, and it happened on a date with 48 numerology. Train crash has that gematria of 48, as does Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. And again, Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope. And of course, the Da Vinci Code series came out focused on the Illuminati and the Vatican. Again, clues in popular culture. But that new movie, White Noise, which I still have not finished. Again, the film White Noise, if you don't know about it, here, CNN had a headline about this. All the mainstream media's talked about it. This town of East Palestine helped film the movie White Noise, which is about a train crash that has an explosion of the train that makes a toxic plume of chemical gas go over the town, which causes a town evacuation. So again, the entire plot of the film is what these people are living out, and they just helped film This town just helped make that movie. But the movie White Noise is very much focused on Adolf Hitler as well. And again, World War II is blamed on Adolf, and the creation of Israel is related to Adolf Hitler. But what a lot of people don't realize is the Balfour Declaration was written during the time of World War I, and it was about creating the Jewish state of Israel. And they didn't quite get what they needed out of World War I, so they had to instigate World War II and drum up the new Jesuit boogeyman who wore the Jesuit colors red and black, Adolf, to get the agenda fully realized. And again, just in case you're new here, we've got to go over a few more things. Just in case you're new here, to understand the greater connection between Israel and Pope Francis and the Jesuits, the leader of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, he died December 1st, 1973, 201 days after the anniversary of the establishment of Israel. And notice the Holy Bible, State of Israel, the Jesuit order, they're all 201. And Pope Francis, again, he's the first Jesuit pope, and he's the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which is known as the Domus Sancti Marte. And his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is 201, like Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, is 201. By the way, shout out to D26. He pointed out that in Ignatius of Loyola's bio, it says he died from the Roman fever, which also equals 201. Kind of reminds of Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation before it happened, put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab. But anyhow, Catholic Pope and the Jesuit Order are 201, and if you don't know, the CIA, the words in its logo equal 201, its motto equals 201. It was established on the 201st day of the Pope's age at the time, Pope Pius. And again, Suite 201, where Pope Francis lives, is called the Domus Sancti Marte for another 201. Huge number with the Jesuits. Just to remind that all of this is Jesuit. Jesuits run everything from your federal government to your nightly news to Hollywood, and that's how they have it all perfectly synced up. They are the Illuminati. They founded the Illuminati. And again, in White Noise, in the scene where they're having the evacuation, for just a brief moment, they zoom in on a pile of books during the evacuation scene, and you can see Not of This World, The Occult History, Witches and Witchcraft. Again, this whole thing of Kabbalah is related to witchcraft. The dark half of Kabbalah is known as the Qlippoth, which is witchcraft, which has to do with sorcery through Kabbalistic knowledge, which includes the practice of coding numbers into words. But notice how words like Jewish, Masonic, killing, Lucifer, occult all equal 74. Remember how Israel's 74th birthday started off with a bang in Buffalo. Again, this whole ritual synced up with Israel's 74th birthday. The country's still 74 years old. And the leader of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, he's also 74 right now. And from his 74th birthday to this ritual, the crash, was 84 days later. Jesuit, Zionism, Masonry, United States of America, all 84. The movie White Noise is set in the year 1984. Again, the movie that this town helped film, that's now the part of the Jesuit news plot. Little preview for what's to come to more communities en route to Agenda 2030. And not to be outdone, Benjamin Netanyahu, who stepped down from Israel June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, but who's now back by the numbers. Remember, he came back on 12/29, the 201st prime. From his birthday to the crash was 105 days later. Zionism forwards 105 and reverse it's 84. Order of Illuminati is also 105 in the same cipher where the Jesuit order is 84. And again, there's a lot more to say about all of that, really. The 3,500 fish dead that they keep reporting, again, it's the Society of Jesus, right? The symbol of Jesus is the fish because we're in the age of Pisces, and Jesus is an astrological ritual, which, you know, most of the lemmings who can't see through it can't figure out, even though they have the bumper sticker on the back of their car. But remember, Catholic and Holy See equal 35, like how the nation's first Catholic president was number 35, JFK. Run it the other way, Catholics 46, like how he died at age 46, like how the nation's second Catholic president, Slow Joe, elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And then, again, Pete Buttigieg, he's, he's just making jokes about it. Pete Buttigieg, Pete Buttigieg might stop by town to see if there's any cute boys. Not much I can do about the explosion, but do you have any cute boys? I'm Pete Buttigieg. Okay. Again, last night during TFR, the news broke that we had a shooting in El Paso. Okay, so we had the shooting in El Paso in 2019, 23 dead a few days ago. The shooter finally pleaded guilty to killing the 23 people, and then just days later, a parking lot over, we have another mass shooting in El Paso. I'm sure it's not a ritual. I'm sure the government has nothing to do with it. I'm sure it's just all organic and swell. By the way, this happened at the Cielo Vista Mall, which equals Jesuit order, and happened 42 months later, where Jesuit gun and ammo are 42. And it happened 94 days after Greg Abbott's birthday, where El Paso has Gematria 23, and Run It the Big Way, El Paso has Gematria 94. So here we are in 2023, 94 days from the governor's birthday. And back before he was the governor, and it was the prior governor, I was showing how mass shootings in Texas were synced up with that last governor. It's the same in every state. Super Bowl's synced up with the Pennsylvania and Missouri governors yet again. And you got to love the Missouri governors, the 57th governor of the state, and has the same birthday as Patrick Mahomes. And again, it was 148 days after both their birthdays. And Kansas City's 148 when they win. But again, all the perfect pawns are in all the right places for all the planned rituals and the ongoing Jesuit Masonic agenda. And there it is. Man, what a coincidence. The news just rubbed it in your face. The Walmart parking lot, the mall parking lot. It's just like, come on, man. I bet you there was somebody in the room when they were drawing up the script for this news story who was saying, let's report 2 dead, 3 injured. Come on. And somebody's getting mad. We're not going to do it. It'll be too obvious. We just said, just right there. But in a way, I'm almost surprised they didn't go with 2 dead, 3 injured. Somebody must have put the kibosh on it. They thought it would have been too obvious. Okay. Tim McCarver, dead at 81, former MLB star, former longtime announcer, and he's dead just before the season gets underway. That'll end with the 119th World Series. Want to guess what his name equals? James Timothy McCarver, 119. And adding insult to injury, the last team he played for in his career was the Phillies. The Phillies just lost the World Series, and they just lost the 100th NFL season. Remember, Patrick Mahomes came in 10-3 to the Super Bowl in State Farm Arena, which equals 103, and we got to watch the State Farm ads while he won the Super Bowl. But notice, from the day the World Series ended to his death is 103 days later. See how it's all connected? 103 is the 27th prime. Ritual equals 27 and 81. He's dead at 81. MLB's 27. Yankees have won 27 World Series. They've been capped there. The Celtics and the Lakers have won 17 finals. NBA 17. MLB 27. Will we see these teams break the cap? But yeah, the big thing is, baseball's about to get underway. It's about to become the big buzz. And a big death from the sport. I mean, anyone who watches MLB knows Tim McCarver. Been calling games, been playing games. And, R.I.P. Oh, by the way, they said he was called up by the Cardinals at age 17 in the year 59. You think it was Masonic? 59, the 17th prime, Freemasonry 59, Mason 17, modern Freemasonry created in 1717. This nation created 59 years later. 59 and 17. And just yesterday was the death of the 17-year-old boy who was saved from the cave after 17 days. And that was 59 days from Pope Francis's team winning the World Cup, where back when he was the World Cup story, a lot of people didn't catch it, but it was the World Cup story again. It was a French territory where the Thai team was stuck in the cave, and they were a football team in the time of the World Cup. But Pope Francis, if you don't know, equals 59. And now that boy's death synced with the Pope, and the Pope's from Argentina, and Argentina just beat France in the World Cup. Pope Francis, the Jesuits from France. Again, before the World Cup began, we had a hunch it was going to be Argentina over France. Pope turned 86 the day before. Argentina last won it in 86. It was the 22nd World Cup in 22, the first time it was ever at that time of year during the Pope's birthday. France fell to 2-2 in World Cup championships. Again, scripted sports, scripted news, by the numbers, all day, every day. And, speaking of sports, we're always talking about 35 Thursday. We've collected a lot of money over the years understanding the 35 rituals in sports on Thursdays. This is the second week in a row they're giving us an F-35 jet story on Thursday. It's just a joke. Thursday equals 35. U.S. F-35 jets intercept 4 Russian fighter jets. 4 and 2, right? 2 and 4. Russia 24, War 42. I mean, come on. And Alaska. Why did we acquire the Alaskan territory? For the sake of military purposes? With Russia, our adversary, our supposed adversary in the New World Order. We're at the top. Both governments are completely aligned, just using their people. For the sake of the ruling class's benefit, our fear is their gain. Through our fear, they can pass all kinds of agendas, make all kinds of money, military contracts. Okay, also in the news, we have another Benjamin Crump case. Crump Daddy's back. This time it's in Raleigh. Gematria 42, like February, like slavery, like Tuskegee, like Jackie, like N-word, like all the other 42s that we see year after year in Black History Month. But now we're in Raleigh, and if you've seen the video, police are, I don't know, it looks like a place where people are parked just hanging out. Police are just going door to door, knocking on people's cars. Hey, open up, open up, we want to look inside your car. It's like, this is why you got to know your rights. Here's what you say if the police come knocking on your car door and you're in a parking lot where you have the right to be. You say, fuck off. That's all you say. You don't open your door. You just say, fuck off. That's all you got to do. You're within your rights. They're not. But in this video, they open the door. Again, they're not driving anything. They're just, everybody's parked in the parking lot. And for whatever reason, the cops are going door to door, knocking on everybody's door. And it's probably another stage scene for another, race riot by the numbers. But they open up the door, and then they're drinking alcohol in the car. So the officer says, all right, get out, come out, sit down here. And then next thing you know, the guy's getting tased to death. But here's what stands out. How do they report the story, you guys? Remember, we just went from Tyree Nichols, who was killed in Memphis, where MLK was killed right before the MLK holiday. Now we got this story in February, but they saved it again for us. Darryl Williams was tased to death on January 17th. Remember what day Martin Luther King Jr. Day was this year? It was on January 16th, right? So the day before. And where was he killed? Near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. So, adding insult to injury, Darryl Williams in Gematria equals 68 and 94. And what year was MLK killed? 68. And what day was he killed? April 4th, which is what? The 94th day of the year. Of course, in the year MLK was killed, it was a leap year, so he was killed on the 95th day of the year. But we've been talking about how a lot of things seem to be pointing to April 4th this year. We'll see what kind of funny business they got on April 4th. It's a week before Easter. I think it'll be a Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I think it'll be a Monday. But, again, just the MLK numbers, right? And for people who don't know, the reason MLK was killed on the 95th day of the leap year is because he assumed the name Martin Luther, and Martin Luther led the Protestant Reformation after writing the 95 Theses, only for Martin Luther King Jr. to be killed on the 95th day of 68, 3 days before the Club of Rome was established, and 201 days before the first major gun control action in this nation, which was a major move against the Bill of Rights and the Second Amendment. This happened in Wake County, which has Gematria 39. Raleigh also has Gematria 39. Again, MLK killed at age 39, so was Malcolm X. And the date January 17th can be written 17/1, like 171, the 18th triangular number. Both taser and race equal 18. He was killed with a taser. Another story about race. It can also be written 117, like Central Intelligence Agency's 117. And then Benjamin Crump was hired by the family on the 44th day of the year. MLK killed on 4/4. George Floyd killed on the 44th parallel by a 44-year-old officer, Derek Chauvin. Tyree Nichols killed by the Scorpion unit, where Scorpion's 44, like kill, like execution, like officer. So Benjamin Crump hired on the 44th day of the year, 27 days after January 17th, on 213. Racism equals 27. And in Jewish Gematria, racism does equal 213. You might recall when LeBron had the N-word spray painted on his house in the 213 area code in L.A. before he lived in L.A., back when he was still with Cleveland. And that news story literally broke the day before he played Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the 213th day of the year, which was also his 213th career playoff game. So, The other road they throw in here, Rock Quarry Road, has gematria of 193, which is the 44th prime, for the record. But yeah, that's the Darryl Williams psyop. And we have another dead young black man from the NFL, Stanley Wilson Jr. We've covered him a few times because he's been in the news for like getting shot while breaking into a house and having some nudity in public. And now he's dead. And they saved the news for the 46th day of the year, the sacrifice number, like Genesis 46 begins with the sacrifice. But they're saying he died on the first day of Black History Month, which was the day of the Tyree Nichols funeral. Fitting, because that was the 32nd day of the year, and funeral's 32. He died 88 days after his birthday. Just dropped dead. Poison equals 88, so does arsenic poisoning. You see that number a lot when people just drop dead, 88. And yeah, I'm sure there's even more to it. But, oh, by the way, he played in 32 games in the NFL, only to die on the 32nd day of the year. Again, NFL equals 32, 32 teams in the league. Brady retired on that day. Don't forget when Brady was at the White House and TMZ broke the headline that Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his jail cell with blood all over and Illuminati written on the wall in blood. I have that headline screenshotted on my old Aaron Hernandez work, but TMZ removed that post from their website. Wonder why. And by the way, today they put out the 3-part name of the black shooter in Black History Month at the Michigan State Spartans. And again, if you missed it, the same day as the Spartan shooting. Again, Sparta's part of ancient Greece, a military society. The same day that this happened, the news broke that the U.S. and Greece were participating in a joint military exercise. By the way, it was on the 44th day of the year where military and shooting equal 44. And again, it was 440 days, 440 after the Oxford, Michigan high school shooting. And by the way, we don't use the cipher a lot, but English extended. In that cipher, MSU equals 440, the abbreviation for the college, 440, like 440 days after Oxford. Again, a reminder that there are other ciphers outside of the base ciphers, and that's one that I've always said has relevance. But yeah, the new 3-part name, Anthony Dwayne McCrae. Gematria of 83, like murder, like how the song Murder by Numbers by the Police came out in 83. And then the name's also 277, the 59th prime number. And again, number stamped all over Black History. Here we are in Black History Month, which ends on the 59th day of the year. Not too far from Detroit is the campus. Motown in 59, words like slave, Negro, blues, Rasta 59, and Jewish gematria kills 59. And you know what? With regards to Michigan State in 59, let's pull up last year's post and remember what happened on May 9th. In case you guys forgot this one, pull it up right here. Michigan State, May 9th, Adrian Payne, former Michigan State basketball star, shot and killed. And notice how his name in gematria, 59. His full name, 95. May 9th could be written 59 or 95. He was drafted by Atlanta, Georgia, 59 city. So now it's not even a full year later. And now in Black History Month, the 59 month, we got a shooter whose name's 277, the 59th prime. So anyhow, R.I.P. again. And the Damar Hamlin thing, Rambo went into detail last night on the Damar Hamlin Travis jacket. But notice the emphasis on disrespect anyone. Damar Hamlin didn't mean to disrespect anyone with Super Bowl jacket accused of being blasphemy. Both of these emphasize phrases, disrespect anyone, 75. Just like how the word on the back is eternal. Scroll down here, eternal. Both of those things equal 75. Again, Mahomes got his 75th career win in the game. The whole season was synced with the death of Len Dawson, who died on Kobe Bryant Day, where Kobe's from Philly and Len Dawson played for the Chiefs. But Len Dawson retired in 75. Sacheen Littlefeather died the day of the big Mahomes beating Brady by 41 points ritual. Dead at 75. Littlefeather 75. And then Blasphemy has the gematria 38. Big number in the Super Bowl, 38 points at halftime, 38 points in the winning score. And again, the guy who made this jacket, the Takashi Murakami, 57 like Hamlin, going with Super Bowl 57, going with Abe Lincoln 57, going with Lincoln 38, going with Abe Lincoln 87. I mean, just all the same numbers we've been talking about with this Super Bowl. They're all encoded in the latest Damar Hamlin ritual and everything in the jacket. Everything's got to be gematria perfect for the cabal. It's got to be all just right with the spelling for the spell. Again, the mind control, the psyops, always the divisive things, the things to play with people's minds and hearts. The whole Damar Hamlin story is. Okay, and then one other thing. I just want to I want to play this guy. If you don't know who he is, he's just a guy who lately has been attacking gematria a lot. He keeps like saying gematria is gay. Gematria is Gnosticism. We don't need Gnosticism. All we need is Jesus and children. Let's just all focus on our families and Jesus. Gematria is gay. He keeps saying this, right? But he also keeps asking me to come on his show. And I'm not going to go on there anymore because it's just like the guy's just a goon, right? And I mean, there's nothing real about him being a Christian. Again, Christians are supposed to be people who are concerned about justice and what's wrong. And again, what this guy does for a living is makes cartoons that are sarcastic and does impressions of Ben Shapiro. And again, he's just kind of a goon. He's a goon for Jesus. But here, I also just want you to hear him in his own words about why he took down his stream yesterday, because he had me on and then he just cut it off and kicked me off and then went on a crying fit about how I said things that could get his channel censored, and I didn't even say anything bad. I mean, the guy's a total wuss. But anyway, just listen to this Jesus, this supposed Jesus guy right here.
The stream yesterday, I'm uploading it at this spot. What happened is Zach, the douche that he is, starts talking about mass boomies, state, all that stuff, which I have to wonder about that guy, because he talks about that stuff and he says it all so clearly too when he gets to so I had to delete it, bring it into my editing, take all of his nonsense out, and then re-upload it. So that's what happens when someone says a bunch of things that clearly, he knows what flags things. So I think Zach is a bad actor now. I think he's a bad actor. So I blocked him. He's usually fun kind of to talk to because, maybe you can get somewhere and get into some topics. And maybe get him to start thinking about some other stuff.
So, again, what I was telling him about when he cut it off was how but Greece and the U.S. military were having the joint drill in the time of the Spartan shooting. And again, for how a decade I've taught about the significance of 44 and shootings and military and false flag operations. And because, again, he's on there telling people that there's no reason to know gematria. It's totally stupid and pointless. It doesn't help with anything. And I'm making another point about how a lesson I've taught for a decade allows us to see through this so that, we can stop this as a people if we choose to, because we know who's doing it, our own government, and who's actually controlling the government. And then he just gets so offended, and he's like, oh, my God, he's trying to get my channel taken down. It's just like, okay, you're constantly making fun of my work and saying how stupid it is, and I'm laying down on your stream why it's not stupid, and then your response is, oh, you're a bad actor trying to get my channel censored. No, actually, I'm just trying to talk about what's... So, again, here's your supposed Christian, right? This is the supposed Christian, and realize it's very lucrative to be a fake Christian on YouTube. Retard from Boston went from obscurity, like literally a nobody with no following after a decade, to, oh, I found Jesus. And then all of a sudden his channel goes from no subscribers to 100,000. All of a sudden he's got a brand new FJ driving back and forth. He's got $1 million in gadgets. Somehow he sucked in all the YouTube money once he found Jesus. And in reality, the guy's just a total douchebag, as is this guy. For this guy to call me a douche, I mean, give me a break. This is the douche. But again, and ultimately, that's all really Christianity is. I mean, these guys all represent what Christianity is. It's this fake thing to fleece sheep. Again, it's a totally bullshit religion, but it's part of the cultural programming, and it just brings in the money. You can see the way this guy gets super chats. It's crazy. He just talks about nothing, literally about nothing. And It's just a joke. I mean, it's a joke. But yeah, if you want to make money on YouTube, for anybody who needs some money, just go on YouTube and pretend to be a Christian. It's a great way to just suck in the money. And again, it's because those Christians are programmed to put money in the plate each weekend. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be generous, but when all you do is donate your money to a false religion and, you're putting your money in the wrong place, So, again, have you seen Retard from Boston do anything to create a platform to fight the censorship or actually get out and pound payment anywhere or put any resource toward anything or help out homeless people on the street or any of the things that I've done, help out other people? No. He's just been sucking it in. Oh, I found Jesus. The earth is flat. So anyway, listen to this guy, though. What a coward. You think that's what Jesus would be about? Hi, I'm Jesus, the Son of God, but I'm not going to go against what my Talmudic masters want for me to say on YouTube. I'm just going to toe the line. And don't forget, when this guy was first calling us out, he's changed his backdrop since a lot of people have been calling him out for it, because he used to have a big 201 right in the corner of his backdrop. So he's changed that recently, but... Yeah, I think this here. Let me just see what I didn't even. That's probably as much as I heard of the moron earlier. Let's see what he goes on to say from here.
Right. All right, that didn't show up. Okay, let me see it. Let me see it. Oh, it did work. Did you guys see and hear? Did you see and hear it? All right. Well,
I just realized the volume was real down. Let's just play him one more time. So here's the brave Christian who's just so afraid to talk about things that are actually going on in the world, who's actually afraid to put real information out there that could help free people from the matrix. And the thing was, when I went on his show, the guy who was on there before said that, he recently just figured out the media is a psychological operation. It always had him depressed and had him abusing substances. And I came on, I was like, that's why I do what I do, to help people free themselves from this matrix of misinformation. And this knowledge definitely helps people do that. But here he is again. The coward in his own words. Here he is, the Christian coward.
Sent Buck the link. So, audio's good. Everything's good. The stream yesterday, I'm uploading it at this spot. What happened is Zach, the douche that he is, starts talking about mass boomies, state, all that stuff. Which I have to wonder about that guy, because he talks about that stuff and he says it all so clearly too when he gets to so I had to delete it, bring it into my editing, take all his nonsense out, and then re-upload it. So that's what happens when someone says a bunch of things that clearly he knows what flags things. So I think Zach is a bad actor now. I think he's a bad actor. So I blocked him. He's usually fun kind of talk to because, maybe you can get somewhere and get into some topics and maybe get him to start thinking about some other stuff, right? All right, that didn't show up. Okay, let me see it. Let me see it.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, again, I mean, this is a loser right here. A guy who thinks all we need to do is believe in Jesus. That's exactly what the controllers want. A guy who has no balls, afraid to speak against the tyrants. Oh my God, I might get a strike. Yeah, I'm a bad actor. How many, I always take one for the team. God, people like this are such a joke. And the sad thing is, because we live in a society of jokes, where over 90% of the population's a bad joke, they identify more with losers like this. That's why I rant the way I do. That's why I say, get on with the mass depopulation. Golden ID code says the 2/3/23 train derailment happened 2 weeks, 3 days after Jim Carrey's birthday, and he was born 2 weeks, 3 days into the year. Yeah, he does have that movie, The Number 23, that begins on the date February 23rd, which will be the anniversary of the Alamo. Shout out to Nathan, too. Appreciate it, Nathan. But, yeah, again, you guys, all the biggest losers I've encountered on YouTube have all been Jesus people. So, Maybe going to church on Sunday and eating Jesus' body and drinking his blood's not good after all. Yeah, and what's funny is, I mean, the guy, like, it's like, I didn't want to talk about it. Total loser. Total loser. So, here, let me see what else is going on the 47th day of the year. Any more 47s? Bruce Willis. Why is Bruce Willis in the news on the 47th day of the year? Remember, we had the whole thing with Will Smith slapping Chris Rock over the supposed joke about his wife's head. And then at that time, Pfizer was just coming out with their new experimental drug for that problem. And then whatever the name of that problem was very similar to whatever Bruce Willis's new problem is. The family of Bruce Willis has announced that the actor is suffering from a form of dementia called frontotemporal dementia. I'm sure that's how you actually pronounce it. Frontotemporal dementia, or FTD for short. In a statement shared Thursday, the 67-year-old star's family stated that while the news is painful, it is a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis. Today, there are no treatments for the disease, a reality that we hope can change in the years ahead. Let's see how many years Bruce Willis has been in show business, first of all. Let's go to his IMDb. What's the original Bruce Willis film? He's got the March 19th birthday. Let's see. First movie was 1980. The First Deadly Sin. The 43-year anniversary. Okay. Here, let's see it. Let's see if any of this fits in with the 47th day of the year. His birthday is the 78th day of the year, March 19th. So, frontotemporal dementia, 119. There is a relationship just with 119 and 47. Just words like foundation or 119, 47, Star of David. We talked about the baseball player dead today with the 119 name. Almost seems like it would have been a better story yesterday. I do see that dementia's 145. His IMDb says he's made 145 movies today. Funny. Interesting. He's got another one coming out, though. Soon enough, it'll be 146. But at the time of the official dementia notice. Just for the record, it is interesting that dementia and Catholic are the exact same in all ciphers. Doesn't mean there's an actual true relationship. But who knew? Yeah, maybe there's more of a reason to this than I'm noticing right now. Walter Bruce Willis is his full name. Gonna turn 68 in 31 days. Willis is 78, going with being born on the 78th day of the year. Bruce Willis is 74, The Reflection. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something there, though. I feel like I'm missing. Usually they don't put things in the news on any old day just by accident. Aphasia. Variety has it as aphasia. Aphasia. Maybe that was the word they gave us last year. But yeah, I'm a little bit stumped on that one. All right. Score them a point. Normally I don't get stumped with the news story and why it comes on the day it did, but I imagine somebody will find a more appropriate reason for why they saved that for today. It could be the whole mental health thing. We have seen a lot of 47 with mental health. Mental health is 40. Mental health is also 119. So, and today's date numerology is 61 as well. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's a mental health thing. Technically, that is mental health. So, perhaps that's it. Bruce Willis. He's got the 119 name. It is a fitting day for a mental health story. 47th day of the year, 61 date numerology. Okay. It couldn't be 23 days from his birthday because his birthday is March 19th. That's the 78th day of the year. It's 31 days from today. Unless you're talking about somebody else. Oh, you think it's a parallel to Biden? Maybe. Maybe it's predictive programming for Biden. Biden will be removed from office. Senile. That's a good point, Bamboo Soldier. Alvin Kamara's in trouble again. Number 41 for the Saints. Let's see. Whoops, didn't spell his name right. From Las Vegas. Yeah, this is tied to the thing from the All-Star game last year. Nevada equals 47. That was last year at the All-Star game. Nevada, 47. Let's see how many days from his birthday it is. July 25th, 2022. Today is 206 days, which means it's 159 days to his upcoming birthday. Scottish right number. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, Black Man's also 159. Yeah, I remember it was September 15th years ago. CNN's front page was protest over killing of Black Man. I was like, no name, just Black Man on 15/9. So. All right. Well, I think that's enough for now, True Seeker. We'll keep it relatively short and sweet. And thank you again to the Super Chatters. And it is the 47th day of the year, so if they have anything else big planned for today, I'll definitely be back. Just making sure I didn't miss any messages. Amy says that form of dementia. Let me check that out again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very good, Amy. Amy caught it. 335. Yeah, it's his birthday. Wait a minute. Is it 335 days after his birthday? Oh, yeah. You could also say it's his 335th day of his age. Right. 335th day of his age. There you go. 47 weeks and 6 days. Yeah, that's what they did. So on the 335th day of his age, frontotemporal dementia. Okay. Score one for Amy. Somebody out there was like, I knew all the news wasn't by the numbers. Score -1 for you. You'll never win. You will never win because every day, that's all it is news by the numbers. So. Everybody's got a new AI chatbot. I mean, you see how dumb things are? Like the other day, it was like, Google's AI chatbot makes error and Google's stock falls by several billion. It's just like, okay. Since when were people investing in Google over their AI chatbot? I mean, the market's just so dumb. Okay. Bryn Forbes from Michigan State's in the headlines. Thank you. Congrats to the winners. By the way, tomorrow's Michael Jordan's birthday. It's his last day of being 59 years old. And his former team's gonna play their 59th game on his last day of being 59. And again, just another nice streak with Jordan. Tonight doesn't pay anything, so don't even worry about it. But the last 4 games leading up to it did. You see how Michael's 33 and Jordan's 26? The Bulls were 26 and 28. Again, if you're on my Patreon, it pays to be on my Patreon. There were some nice, valuable games along the way, but I said, look what will happen if the Bulls lose their next 5 games. They'll be 26 and 33. Right now, they're 26 and 32. Again, tonight's game doesn't pay anything, so you might as well just leave tonight's game alone. But, again, 2 years in a row, it's going to be, well, not 2 years in a row. It's every single year there's a huge tribute to Michael Jordan. And actually, let me check. Let's check the University of North Carolina, actually, because last year they were the really big payout on the eve of Jordan's birthday. Too bad they don't play this year. They don't play this year. Jordan's college. That's too bad. Last year they were a big old payout. So, but here, Bryn Forbes, NBA champion Bryn Forbes arrested after striking woman several times. So this happened yesterday on the 46th day of the year. He's from Lansing, Michigan, right by the campus. Born in 93. Yeah, it is funny. A Michigan State player, right after what just happened with Michigan State. All right, so this news broke yesterday. Let me take a minute to look at the story here. So it was yesterday's news, the 46th day of the year. Michigan's got that 46 gematria. He's played for the Spurs and the Bucks. Was arrested Wednesday morning in Texas after he allegedly assaulted his girlfriend. Forbes was arrested around 5 a.m. Wednesday at the La Cantera Resort and Spa. So that was yesterday. In San Antonio, per the report. Forbes and his girlfriend were out earlier in the night, but an altercation apparently turned violent when they returned to the resort. He's 29 years old, right? Like Tyree Nichols, where Black's 29. We're in Black History Month. Let's check out the name of this spa. See if anything that has anything to do with it. All right, let's look from his birthday. July 23rd. Today or yesterday. Whoops. I go from his last birthday. Might just be because he's former Michigan State. Just goes with the theme of the week. See how his name is the same as Michigan State Spartans? It's amazing how many college players it's like that for. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any more to it, but what are the odds? Michigan State player in the same week. Bryn Forbes is 56. So is San Antonio, Texas, where it happened at. And we all know what 56 is, right? Black Lives Matter. Black Power. You know how Black Lives Matter is 106, so is Black Power, so is Black. Sweet Lady put on a movie the other night. If anyone's seen it. You know Dakota Fanning, the little girl that used to be in all the movies, now she's a little bit older. It's about Dakota Fanning and another girl getting released from prison, or probably more like juvenile detention because they're 18 years old. But when they were little girls, they kidnapped a woman's baby. Happened to be a black baby they kidnapped. And then they ran off with the baby and kind of wanted to have like a real life doll, but they were little kids. So they didn't really know how to take care of it. And they were feeding it their dad's pudding from his pudding truck, which ended up killing the baby because it wasn't the proper nutrients. And they were keeping the baby in this little hidden place out in the woods. But there's just a scene in the movie because, again, they took the baby from a black neighborhood, right? There's a scene in the movie where the camera just zooms in on the street by where a house is where the latest kidnappings happened. And they just zoom in on 106. It's like, why do people deny gematria? Can't you see the people who run Hollywood are into this Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, and they do this in every little, just like, they have to zoom in on 106 in the black neighborhood. Just like, God. And here we're talking about this guy being 29, right? Anyway. All right. I feel content with the stream. Good enough. And shout out to Amy who cracked the code again with the Bruce Willis decode. Daria wants me to do the Daytona 500. Oh, God, that's this weekend. Yeah, I'll do the Daytona 500. There's no basketball. Why not? Good reminder. Remember that Denny Hamlin thing they did with the Lamar Hamlin thing? Denny Hamlet came out and saved the day. Okay. Yeah, I could take a look at NHL while hockey's on a break. That's a thought. I was thinking about using the time off to finish my short book. So... My mom says, call home. All right, I'll give my mom a call, you guys. Thanks to the super chatters. Again, if anything big happens, I'll be back today. And just for you, Daria, I'll do the Daytona 500. Yeah, 47 weeks and days after Bruce Willis's birthday. And again, Charmed One caught it. The name of the illness is 335. It's his 335th day of his age. So... Till next time, Truth Seeker.